Hi, this is Bella Mehta reporting for Room Now from ACR 2025. We have Jeff Sparks with us, who's from Brigham and Women's, and he's the director of oncology
and autoimmunity.
Yes,
correct.
At Brigham, and there's a lot of talk at ACR about CAR T cells. So we thought we'd hear from the expert here. So tell me. What do you think about CAR T cells, and what are the best abstracts or sessions you could recommend people to go to?
Well, as in previous meeting, there's a lot going on with CAR T, and I think the field is exploding. And cells, cellular biomarkers, cells as intervention, it's just really been incredible to see it grow. As we know, maybe a few years ago, we were really only talking about auto CAR T, talking about chemotherapy, long hospitalizations. And now this year it's moving even more into off-the-shelf, which is allo, also doing in vivo CAR T, and then I think a lot more interest in T-cell engagers, both bispecific, even trispecific antibodies. And the way I would term it is that at the moment, there's some early adopters that are really trying to test out the field. I think the rest of rheumatology is really trying to see where things fall into place, and are they going to have to get an oncologist on board, a pheresis unit, get familiar with chemotherapy, or is it going to be something where you could do all this in vivo? But certainly it's been transforming the field.
Great. So just for people to understand, when you say in vivo, how does it work?
Well, we don't have all the time here, but basically lipid nanoparticle units are injected and basically give instructions for the engineering to actually occur within the body, as opposed to having to extract cells, carefully engineer them ex vivo, freezing them. So you can imagine that there's a lot of appeal to do this in vivo because you don't have to go through all those inefficiencies. However, of course, there's so many details, there's so many things to iron out that this is still very, very early days.
Okay. So does it change the cost, and do you think that would open up this technology to more patients?
Yeah, cost and efficiency, access are going to be the big issues, and all of those we need a lot of work on, as you probably know. Right now it's very expensive. It's a bit of a cherry-picked patient that's able to be sick enough to qualify, but adherent enough and have all those resources involved in order to undergo these really complicated protocols. And certainly it's very expensive now. And there's so much enthusiasm here. I am cautiously optimistic that many of these inefficiencies can be lessened.
Great. Thank you. So is there any particular sessions that you would recommend people to go to? Or any particular drug is here, which is the big one that you think?
I think I'll highlight a few things. I think most rheumatologists understand that CD19-based therapies can really effectively deplete B cells, and probably to a greater extent than our other therapies, such as rituximab and other related items. But this is really a platform where you can choose many different targets, and you can also choose other types of cells, not just T effector cells that have all these side effects. There's some really innovative CARs looking at NK cells, but also T regulatory cells. And those in particular I'm really excited about. These recently won the Nobel Prize about Treg, and you wouldn't expect much toxicity in here. You're basically injecting a peacemaker that hones into where the inflammation's going on, and in theory at least, there should not be a lot of the acute side effects that would be expected in other types of cells. So I'm not sure one really is standing out from the crowd, but to see the depth and breadth. And also we're moving on from case reports. Like all the studies now are prospective, they're interventional, they're pre-specified, and we're now getting into dozens of patients, but certainly we need to get into even more patients. We also need to think about at what point do we do a comparator group. So still early days, but it's incredible how much the field has advanced in just a few years.
Thank you so much. This is really helpful, and thank you to Jeff Sparks, and you see more coverage on CAR T at Room Now. Thank you.